Okay. So yeah, so there is this box. So you don't know how many of blue balls are there. You are just told that there are 3 balls. Yeah, and the number of blue balls is unknown. It is some number theta. Yeah, so it could be 0, 1, 2, or 3. We don't know what it is. Yeah, and yeah, you are going to choose 4 balls with replacement. Yeah, with replacement. That means you put back the ball before you choose the next one. Yeah, and we define random variables. Yeah. So we define random variables x1, x2, x3, and x4 as whether you have chosen a blue ball or not in the ith turn. Yeah. So this is, we have already seen many examples like this. So these x's are IIDs. So x's are from Bernoulli with yeah, the probability of is theta by 3. Yeah, so theta is this number. So theta by 3 is the probability of seeing a red ball, sorry, blue ball. Is that clear? And yeah, so after doing this experiment, you did this experiment and you saw these are the values. Okay, in the first turn you saw a blue, third turn you saw a blue, fourth turn you saw a blue. Yeah. So after seeing this, what do you think the value of theta should be? Yeah. So you have done this experiment, you have observed something. From this, what do you think the value of theta should be? How do you find that value of theta? Any ideas? From the observation, how can you find the value of theta? I mean, we cannot be sure what the value of theta is, right? Can we be sure what the value of theta is? Yeah, yeah, you are right. So Abhiram is, yeah, surely theta cannot be 0. That 0 is ruled out. Yeah, great. That's a good observation. But theta can still be 1, 2, or 3. Yeah. So from this observation, should I say that the value of theta should be? So we kind of did this in the right. We kind of did this when we did sample size and Chernoff bounds and all. Yeah. So one way to answer this question is basically do this part. Okay. So what you will do is you will compute the probability of 1, 0, 1, 1. Yeah, assuming different values of theta. So probability that, let's say theta equal to 0 of 1, 0, 1, 1. What is this probability?
0.
Yeah, that is what Abraham also just said. Okay, this probability is 0. So yeah, sometimes this is annoying. Um, what is this probability? Suppose theta equal to 1. What is this probability going to be?
Sir, 2 by 3 power 4.
So theta equal to 1. Theta is the number of blue balls, no? Yeah. So you have to see a blue ball in the first, third and fourth. So it should be 1 by 3 to the power 4 into 2 by 3. Sorry, 1 by 3 to the power 3 into 2 by 3.
So why is it 1 by 3? Are we considering the other two balls as red? Like, are we considering the sample size as 3?
No, we are choosing 4 times independently, no?
Yes.
And we have observed, I mean, the value of the random variable was observed as 1, 0, 1, 1. That is,
But
the first ball was blue.
It is with replacement. So even if we have one blue ball and one red ball, it will do.
So what do you mean by theta equal to 1? There is one blue ball.
Blue ball. So
And,
even if we have the other ball as red, we'll be getting 1 by 2 whole power 3 and 1 by 2, like 1 by 2 whole power 4. So why is it necessarily 3?
There are 3 balls, no?
Okay.
There are 3 balls and one of them is blue. That is what theta equal to 1 means, no?
Okay. Sorry, sir. I have to see that. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So, okay. So, yeah. So we don't know what the value of theta is. So let's find the probability of this observation under all the values of theta. Yeah. So this is going to be 2 by 3 cube into 1 by 3. And theta equal to 3. What is this probability?
0.
0. Okay. Now, okay, I have observed this 1, 0, 1, 1. What should I choose as the value of theta should be? From this observation, what do you think the value of theta should be?
One or two.
1 or 2. Okay, 1 or 2. Okay, that is reasonable. 1 or 2. But among 1 or 2, which would you choose?
Two.
The one which has a more probability.
Yeah. One which will have the most probability. So you will choose theta equal to 2, sorry. Right? Yeah. So from this observation, 1011, yeah, theta equal to 2, yeah, seems to be the right thing to choose. Yeah. So this is some common sense reasoning that you have done, right? I mean, this observation has the highest probability when theta equal to 2. So that should be the value of theta. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, so this kind of reasoning you will see all across computer science and machine learning. Okay. Yeah. And this value of theta equal to 2 is called the maximum likelihood estimate. Just a complicated word for your common sense, that's all. Okay, so typically this is called MLE. You hear MLE, nothing to worry about. Okay, so there is some distribution with an unknown parameter theta. Yeah, so P theta is distribution with unknown parameter theta. Yeah, you are going to draw samples from the distribution. So you have samples x1, x2 up to let's say xk, samples from P theta, IID. Yeah. And suppose you have observed these random variables to be small x, small ones. Okay, so you have made a particular observation. Yeah. So yeah, you draw this random variables and you show some observations. The x1 to x, capital x1 to xk are random variables. small x1 to xk is a particular observation that you made. Here we made the observation of 1, 0, 1, 1, right? Yeah. From this observation, what should you estimate as the value of theta? Yeah. So estimate value of theta. So in maximum likelihood estimate, so estimate value of theta to be, yeah, it is that value of theta which is argmax. Do you know what argmax is? What is argmax of f of theta? What do you mean by this? So we cannot hear you, Sumit.
So it is the value of theta where f theta is maximum.
Yeah. So argmax means it is the value of theta for which f theta is maximum. So max of what is max of f theta? So let's draw the plot of f. So let's say the f is looking like this. Yeah. Suppose f looks like this. The max of max over theta f is basically this value. This is max. And the value of theta for which that maximum is obtained is called argmax. Yeah. So argmax of f theta. So f theta, where f theta basically equal to the probability over theta of x1 to xk. Yeah. So you compute the probability of this observation x1 to xk under different values of theta. So let's say theta equal to 0, theta equal to 1, theta equal to 2, theta equal to 3. We compute this value. Yeah. And so this function which maps theta to this probability is the function f theta. Yeah. And you compute the argmax of this f theta. That is called the maximum likelihood estimate. Yeah. So let's so we already saw an example. Yeah. So there was an unknown parameter theta. We saw an observation like this. And what is the maximum likelihood estimate for theta from this observation? It is basically theta equal to 2. Okay. Is the concept clear? Okay. Yeah. So again, so when you write things, yeah, mathematically, typically this is actually very easy to understand, but typically textbooks are written in a highly mathematical form. Yeah. So if you go to the textbook, you will get a statement like this. Okay. It is just what we described just now. Okay. Just our common sense only, but it is mathematically precisely written like this. Okay. So x1 to xn are random variable. Suppose you have observed small x1 to xn. Yeah. Now you will define what is called the likelihood function. That is, what is the probability of seeing that observation under the parameter theta? Yeah. As a function of theta. So you can vary various values of theta. Yeah. And find out this probability. Yeah. And so this particular function, this function is called the likelihood function. Yeah. So if somewhere you hear likelihood function, is nothing to worry about. It is just this thing. There is some unknown parameter theta, and you have observed something, and from that observation, what is the likelihood of that observation under the parameter theta? That is called the likelihood function. Okay. So in for example, in machine learning, this theta would be your weights of your model, parameters or weights of your model. Okay. So maybe this probability distribution is computed by some neural network. So this theta will become the weights of the neural network. Okay. So it's very common in neural networks actually. Okay. So this is called the likelihood function. So sometimes instead of looking at this probability value, sometimes it's useful to look at the log of the probability value. Then it's called the log likelihood function. Okay. So again, so if I have to say why this log likelihood function is convenient, I will have to go into machine learning and everything, which is a long story on its own. So just remember these terms so that in the later courses, when you hear these terms, you don't need to be afraid about it. This is the likelihood function. To take the log of the likelihood function, it's called log likelihood function. Sumit had a question.
Yes, sir. I didn't understand the theta part that you said weight of the independent variables. So is it like suppose we have 10 independent variables, so theta 1, theta 2, theta 10. So we will have 10 thetas over there.
No. So theta is some. So here we had only one theta, right? The first question. So this x1 to xn are IID random variables chosen from some distribution p theta where the parameter theta is unknown.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So there is some distribution p theta. Theta is unknown to us, but we have samples x1 to xn samples from that distribution. Yeah. And so you have made a particular observation of the samples. From the samples, what can we say about the theta, which is an unknown parameter? Yeah. So yeah, the number of observation has nothing to do with the parameter theta. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Obviously, if you make lot of observations, you can estimate theta with you can estimate theta better, right? If you have make lot of observations, you can estimate theta better, and your your estimate for the value of theta would be more correct.
Okay. Okay. Sir.
Yeah. So yeah, just right now think about it in terms of this particular example. Yeah, we will try to have a tutorial session where we will see more complicated examples as well.
Yeah. Sure, sir.
Yeah. So yeah, so it's essentially you write down this function L. Okay. So given this observation, yeah, and theta, what is the probability of that particular observation? And essentially you are taking the argmax of theta. If this is your likelihood function, then you are taking the argmax of theta. Okay. So in the particular example that we saw, we are looking at a discrete example. Okay. So things were very easy in the discrete example. We could enumerate all the values of theta. But yeah, in many real life problems, this distribution will be a continuous. Yeah. So theta will not be a discrete thing. It will itself be a continuous thing. And then how do you do estimate theta ML? You will need to do slightly more complicated things. Okay, we will see one example later in the tutorial session. So yeah, so in this kind of situation, when we did this maximum likelihood estimation, we assumed that we didn't know anything about theta. We didn't know anything about theta. Theta could be anything. Yeah, theta could have been anything, and we just enumerated the values of theta and the probabilities of them to find the most likely theta. So this type of when you do probability in this type of way, it is called classical statistics. Okay, this is classical statistics. Yeah. In classical statistics, we kind of assume that okay, we don't know this parameter theta at all. We can take any possible values. Yeah, but let's say let's come back to our opinion polls example. Okay, and there also we were actually tackling a very similar problem. So theta is actually the vote share of a candidate. Yeah, there theta was actually the vote share of the candidate, and that was unknown to us. Yeah. So this theta was the vote share of the candidate, and that was unknown to us. And yeah, we kind of sampled some people, and from that we try to estimate theta. Yeah. Now the thing is, especially in opinion polls, you have some estimate of what the vote share of a candidate is going to be. For example, you possibly have a previous opinion poll or the previous year's previous election result. Yeah. So let's say the vote share of a candidate is around 60%, and typically the vote share doesn't change by more than 10%. Yeah. So instead of I mean, if you do the calculation this way, then you are saying you don't know anything about the vote share. Yeah. So, but we know some prior information about the vote share, that okay, the theta is maybe most likely to be 2. The probability of theta to be 2 is actually 1 by 4, and theta equal to 1 is 1 by 2. Something like that we are told already. So how do you incorporate prior information into this calculation? Okay, so let me just extend this. Okay. Yeah. So whenever you have prior information, yeah, it's called Bayesian statistics. So theta has a prior distribution. Theta has a prior distribution. Yeah. What that means is, earlier we said that we didn't know anything about theta, but here you are told that theta follows the following distribution. So theta is 0 with probability 1 by 6. Yeah. So it is 3 with probability 1 by 4. Yeah. So let's say it is 1 with probability. Yeah. So let's say it is 2 with probability. Okay. Let's say it is. Yeah. So all of this has to add up to 1. 1 by 4, and I want 1 to be 1 by 2. Okay. So this is 1 by 2. Okay. So these two already is a problem. So let's do. So the remaining thing is 1 by 2. It has to be divided among 3 things. So it is 1 by 6, 1 by 6, 1 by 6. Okay. So somebody told you, okay, that theta is actually most likely to be 1 without seeing the observation. Yeah. So somebody told you theta follows this distribution. Theta is 0 with probability 1 by 6, 1 with probability 1 by 2, 2 with probability 1 by 6, and 3 with probability 1 by 6. Yeah. And then you actually also make the observation. So you make observation. So the observation you again make is, let's say, the same observation that you make, 1 0 1 1. Okay. Yeah. It's the same situation as previously. Yeah. You make a observation, but before seeing the observation, you are told that theta, we know something about theta. Theta is not completely unknown. Theta, yeah, I mean, with this much probability it is 0, this much probability it is 1, this much probability it is 2, this much probability it is 3. Yeah. Now, how do you find out the value of theta? Yeah. So let's call your observation y. Yeah. And yeah, so theta you can think of as a random variable x which takes 0, 1, 2, 3 values. Okay. So let's call this z, otherwise it will be very confusing, I guess. So this is x and this is z. Yeah. Okay. Sumit had a question. So earlier what we were computing P of theta equal to 0 of 1011. So we computed all these three quantities. Yeah, but but now what we are going to compute is P of theta equal to 0 of 1011 into the probability of theta equal to 0. Because we are also told that the probability of theta taking different values also you are told. So now you will compute the theta equal to 1 of 1011 into probability of theta equal to 1. So this is theta equal to 2 and this is theta equal to 3. Yeah. So what were these values? I thought we wrote down all these things. So this was equal to 0, this was equal to 0, this was equal to 1 by 3 cube into 2 by 3. That is 2 by 3 raised to 4. Yeah. So this was 2 cube by 3 raised to 4. Yeah. So now if you look at this, so again these two values are equal to 0. So what is this particular value? So it is 2 by 3 raised to 4 into, okay, yeah. So what is this particular value? Into 1 by 2. Probability of theta equal to 1 is 1 by 2. Yeah. And this quantity is 2 cube by 3 raised to 4 into 1 by 6. Okay. Yeah. Is the calculation clear? Yeah.
Sir,
So earlier, yes.
this calculation for the theta has prior distribution, which
Yes.
comes from Bayes rule. Is this, am I going right?
Yeah. This is actually Bayes rule. This is the probability of, yeah. So x equal to 1011 and theta equal to 3. This we are expanding by Bayes rule. Probability of x equal to 1011 given theta equal to 3 into probability of theta equal to 3.
Okay.
Yeah, you are absolutely right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So earlier in the classical statistics world, you are not given any prior distribution. So you just enumerate all possible values of theta and compute this. Yeah. In Bayesian statistics, you will be given a prior information and then you will compute the same. Yeah. So in this case, what is the Bayesian statistics value? What theta should I choose?
So I think it would be 1,
Why is it 1?
because its value is maximum than the others.
Its value is maximum here, but you also made an observation. You need to consider that also into account, no?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So,
So
it will be still 2.
it will be still be 2. If you take both into consideration, it will be still be 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in this case, it still be 2. But suppose your prior information was slightly different. Yeah. So suppose the value of 1 is, yeah. So let's say the value of 1 is, so let's jack up this number, right? Let's jack up this number to be very close to 1. Okay. So let's say it's 2 by 3. If 2 by 3 is there, then that is 4. So I should get a number such that this number is greater than this number. How do you do that?
So we can keep 1/16 and other.
Yeah. So I will give 1/16 here. Yeah. And here what should I give? So here the remaining value. So yeah. So this, let's say this number is 1 minus 1/16 minus 1/3. Yeah.
So yeah, it can be as it is, and we can choose for 1/6 or 0 or 3. So it would
Yeah.
be easier.
Yeah. So if you jack up this probability value for 1 to be very high, then you suddenly see that you will choose this instead of that, because here this particular value will come here. Yeah. So instead of this 1/2, you will get this particular value there. Yeah. And suddenly the prior distribution has influenced our estimate. Okay. So if you compute your estimate for theta using the prior distribution, then it is called maximum a priori estimation. So maximum a posteriori estimation. So I just lose that word always. Let me just. It is called MAP estimate. Okay. Yeah. So this particular estimate is called MAP estimate. MAP or maximum a posteriori estimate. Okay. So this is called maximum likelihood estimate. Yeah. Yeah. So what is the difference between MLE and MAP? So in MLE, there is no prior distribution. You don't take into account a prior distribution. Yeah. So you just compute the probabilities according to different values of theta. Yeah. And yeah, compute the probability of each and find the value of theta for which this probability is maximum. In maximum a posteriori estimation, yeah, you have a prior distribution. Yeah. And you compute the probability of x equal to the observation and yeah, the prior distribution, that theta equal to that prior distribution value, and you take both into account when you compute the estimate for theta. So the difference is just minor actually. Here there is no prior distribution, so you don't multiply by p theta. Here you also multiply by v theta because we are given p theta also. Okay. Yeah, so
So your voice is not coming.
hello.
Yes, sir, we can hear you now.
Okay. 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 So yeah. So So yeah, so there is this two things which is called maximum likelihood estimation and maximum a posteriori estimation. Yeah, and there is a definition for both the things that you need to understand. Yeah, the first one doesn't have any prior distribution. The second one, there's also a prior distribution, and you need to estimate theta also with respect to that. Okay. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah. So this is what we just discussed now. Earlier we only calculated this. Now you should also incorporate the prior distribution in your calculation. Okay, it's a simple thing. We just need to understand these terms because this will come up in many places. Okay, yeah. So let's do an example. Yeah. So you are given a signal. Okay. So X. So you have already seen some examples like this. So there is some channel, and you are. So let's say I am sending X to you. Yeah, I am sending X to you, and the X I am going to send, you know, some prior information about this. Yeah? So you know that it is from normal 0 sigma squared distribution. You have some prior information. You don't know exactly what I said, but you have some information about what X is. It is distributed according to this distribution. So this is the prior distribution. Yeah, so this is the distribution of X, and Y is basically, so and when I send to you, the channel adds some W to it, some noise W to it. Yeah? The noise distribution also you are told, yeah? And you are observing this Y. Suppose yeah, you observed a particular value Y. What should you estimate as the value of X? Yeah? So how do you find this? Yeah. So what all are we told? We are told the density function of X we know. Yeah. So what is the density function of X? It is 1 by root of 2 pi sigma X e raised to minus X minus mu, that is 0 here, the whole squared divided by sigma X. Yeah. That fine? I think there's a 2 or something here if I remember correctly. Yeah, I mean it is the distribution, normal 0 sigma square distribution. Yeah. And what else are you given? So you are also given f of y given x. What is f of y given x? So in terms of normal distribution, what should I write here?
X comma sigma square W, sir.
Yeah. Is that clear to everyone? So given x equal to x, so y given x equal to x is nothing but a small x plus w. X is fixed to be small x, which is a fixed value. W is normal 0 sigma squared. When you add a constant, the mean of a normal distribution shift to x. The variance remains the same. Yeah. So how do you find the ML estimate of x? Suppose you have observed y. So what is the ML estimate for x? Yeah. So what do you compute? F of y given x. Yeah. So f of y given x equal to x of this particular observation. Yeah. So what is this? So this is going to be, okay, 1 by root 2 pi. Yeah. sigma w e raised to minus. So yeah, so this particular yeah, so y minus x the whole squared divided by sigma w. Is that correct? Yeah, so this is yeah. So what is the maximum likelihood estimate? This is the argmax over x. Choose that particular x value such that this particular quantity is maximized. So what is the value of x such that yeah, this quantity is maximized? Yeah. Anybody want to try?
When x is equal to y.
When x equal to y, because it's e raised to negative, right? So this is e raised to negative. So the highest probability this can achieve is from y equal to x. So this is equal to x. So that is the maximum likelihood estimate. Okay. So yeah, what is the maximum a priori estimate, a posteriori estimate? So what is the MAP? How do you get the MAP? Yeah. MAP is again similar. Yeah. It is argmax over x. Yeah. So it is f of y given x equal to x of y into this is what we said, right? And what is this quantity? Yeah. So this quantity will come here. So 1 by root 2 pi sigma w e raised to minus y minus x the whole square divided by sigma w will come in here. Yeah. Into yeah. So there will be into here into what is the fx of x? That is also we know 1 by root 2 pi sigma x e raised to minus x squared by sigma x here. Yeah. Yeah. So if you look at this, this is equal to yeah. Just a second. Yeah. So argmax of over x. So these two things are a constant. We don't need to worry about it. It doesn't depend upon x or y. Yeah. So this is some large constant c into e raised to minus. Inside the minus there is y minus x the whole square divided by sigma w squared, and there is x squared divided by sigma x squared. Yeah. Is that clear? Yeah. So now how do you find the argmax over x of this? How do you find the argmax over x?
Y by 2.
Yeah. So when is this quantity maximized?
Equating by 0, the power.
The power should equate to 0. Yeah. So you should equate y minus x the whole square divided by sigma w squared plus x squared divided by sigma x squared equal to 0. We need to equate. Yeah. And if you equate, you will get following answer. Yeah. So yeah, so now you have like very different answers. Yeah, sorry. Here the answer was equal to y. Yeah. So we have very different answers. Here, when you only maximize this function, your maximum likelihood estimate for the observation y was y itself. Value of x should be equal to y. Yeah. But when you actually have a prior distribution and you are computing the maximum a posteriori estimate, then your x is not equal to y. It also depends upon the variance. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, so these two can be very different. Yeah, and you should understand the difference between them. You should understand the definition and how to compute it. Any questions? Okay. So we will solve more problems in the tutorial class. Okay, and yeah, so you have seen most of most things in probability. We have revised many of the things, and the most common terms also we have seen. We have also seen some applied problems, whether it is in communications, whether it is in opinion polls. We have seen an example of randomized algorithms. We have seen, what else have we seen? So we have seen probability amplification by repeated trials. So most of the common problems in probability, like coupon collector and all, we solved. We saw Markov chains, right? We saw Markov chains. What happens in a Markov chain after a long time? Yeah, we did the shuffling of cards analysis. Yeah. So yeah, all these are very important examples. Okay, they have been like very carefully chosen. So you will see more advanced applications of this, but if you understand probability in terms of these particular examples, yeah, you can easily extend that answer to your advanced examples as well. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, that's all from the course. If you have any comments or anything, please feel free to speak out. No comments, questions, doubts?
Sir, from where we can solve more problems like you have solved in the lectures?
Yeah. So, I mean, the first thing that you are required to do, the required to do is you need to go through the two reference materials. Yeah, there is, I put out two reference materials regularly. You need to go through them. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there are solved problems there inside the textbook itself that you should go through. Additionally, if you still want to, if you don't understand something, or okay, if you couldn't attend the tutorial or something like that, so I have shared you some links where online courses where videos are available, solved problems are available. One in NPTEL and one in MIT OCW. If you go to the MIT, they have put out lot of solved problems. Yeah, you can go through them. So that we will also put out problems as part of assignments and things like that. Yeah. So I mean, as far as this course is concerned, there are plenty of solved problems from the link that I have put out itself. If you search online additionally, you will find even more problems. Yeah. So there is no shortage of material for this course.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, if you just go to the MIT OCW site, you will see the huge number of solved problems already there. We are solving problems in class, we are solving problems in tutorials, but if you still want to be more confident, try more things, there are resources available. Yeah, so
Sir, it's good that we solve a lot of problems, and definitely this will help. but what we are more interested is to apply these things on the real data sets. So where we can find all these examples where the concept what like MLP or MLE, MAP and other Bayesian statistics, all this will be applied to some to the real data set, right? So where can we get most of these examples?
Sure, Sumit. So this is a probability course and not a machine learning course. Okay, so the primary objective of this course is to make your probability fundamentals very clear and give you some examples, okay, of possibly applications how it is going to be used, which we have tried to some extent. So you will have later courses. There will be machine learning course. There will be other courses in communications. Yeah, there will be information theory course. In those places, you already give some examples, some basic examples from many of these areas. But if you really want to solve real world problems from this, you need to attend those applied courses. Yeah. So everything we cannot do in the course. Yeah, I mean, this is a probability course and your primary objective is to get the probability concepts clear.
Right, sir.
Yeah, I understand. We should solve more real world problems and that's where the thing is.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Actually,
so
like
there is always a time limitation and among the students also there are 120 students and there are students with varying background. Some of you might be experts in probability, some of you might be new to probability, some of you might be coming here after some break, career break and so on, or from work and things. So then yeah, everybody needs to revise. So I need to keep it at a level such that everybody can, yeah. So if you go to the MIT OCW, there are plenty. So if you look at it, there are plenty of problem sets, yeah, and tutorial videos, solutions, and everything. So there is also classical inference and Bayesian inference. That also there are plenty of problems there. Okay. So I mean, I have tried to cover important problems from this in the assignments, in the tutorials, and everything. Okay. But if you still want more practice, all of them are solved, including solutions. It's here. If you just go to that website, you will get, or if you just search for online probability course, yeah, there are probability course from all the major universities, and they typically freely release problem sets also, including my previous class on probability. If you go to my webpage, there will be question papers from my exams there. Okay, so there are plenty of resources. Yeah. Any other questions?